Narendra Modi government will be trying to keep a delicate balance as it engages with the major powers in November and December of 2017. As the economy of India is falling down due to Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, he has to do something to get support of the people. While an official level meeting of India, Japan, US, Australia, a quadrilateral is expected in Manila in November. With an eye on balancing an aggressive China on the sidelines of the East Asia Summit, Delhi will be hosting the foreign ministers of Russia, China in December 2017 under the Russia, India, China or the RIC trilateral format. The idea of the quadrilateral was conceived by Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and the first meeting was held in 2007. However, Australia had later pulled out of the initiative. Last week, US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson too had it in his meeting with his External Affairs Minister of India Sushma Swaraj, pushed the idea of the quadrilateral that was echoed near simultaneously by the Japanese Foreign Minister in an interview to the local media. In December, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi will visit India for the RIC convened by Sushma Swaraj. Wang will be the first high-level visitors from Beijing since the Doklam crisis, and Xi Jinping's re-election as the General Secretary of the Communist Party and the President and the Chairman of the Central Military Commission of China. When asked about the Delhi's position on the quadrilateral, an MEA spokesperson had last Friday signaled the caution, saying India has an open mandate to cooperate with countries with convergence, but obviously to an agenda that is relevant to Delhi. Experts point out that India would like to test waters at the next quadrilateral meet and is cautioned given its 2007 experience when Australia pulled out ostensibly under Chinese influence. The US has also suggested expanding India-Japan-US Malabar Navy exercise to include Australia. No final decision has yet been taken on expanding the trilateral naval exercise ahead of the next edition of Malabar off the coast of Japan. India was scheduled to host the RIC meeting this April of 2017, but China had refused to join on that occasion, alleged to the protest against Dalai Lama's Arunachal visit. While the RIC meet will provide an opportunity to deliberate upon key global challenges including the global and the cross-border problems, Afghan and North Korean situations, stability of the seas, BRICS developments and the UN Security Council expansion, all eyes will be on Wang's meeting and the message he carries from the top of China. Wang Yi will hold the bilateral meeting with Swaraj besides calling on the Prime Minister of India. Wang Yi's visit will give an opportunity to India to gauge the Chinese foreign policy approach under Xi Jinping, who has emerged as the most powerful Chinese leader in decades, according to the people familiar with the issues. China's One Belt One Road initiative or the Uber initiative, which India says not only violates the Indian sovereignty but has an expansionist agenda. China's position on India's proposed membership to the Nuclear Supplier Group or the NSG, and the Beijing support to Pakistan-based border problems. The Doklam episode, which was resolved a week before the BRICS summit in Xiamen in China, has signaled the PLA aggression along the disputed boundaries could be norm under Xi Jinping's presidency. But India's firm position on Doklam had earned accolades from the international community. During the bilateral meeting on the sidelines of the BRICS summit, Modi and Xi Jinping had agreed for the confidence-building measures along the line of actual control to prevent an recurrence of the Doklam-type incidents in the future. So what do you think of India's the quadrilateral meeting incoming in Philippines? Will India be the allies of US, Japan, Australia to counter the China?
The Kenya Economic Update is a biannual publication of the World Bank office here in Nairobi. What it seeks to do is to promote debate and discussion on key topical issues here affecting Kenyans that will foster growth, shared prosperity, and reduction in poverty. To safeguard the gains of the past, it will be important for Kenya to maintain macroeconomic stability. But Kenya can also seek to accelerate its growth rate beyond the 5 to 6% which it has been growing over the past 5 years by looking for new sources or sectors for growth. One such sector where we see great promise is in developing the affordable housing market.
We have a backlog here of over 2 million housing units that people need to live in and that just aren't available. About 60% of the urban population in Kenya is actually living in a slum. And a lot of these people don't need to live in substandard housing. They can afford housing, but they're not able to access either the units, so the supply is not there at the right price, or they're not able to get finance to purchase those units.
Niko na family, niko bibi na mtoto. Wote wanakaa Bon. Nilikuja Nairobi kutafuta kazi. Ningefurahi sana kukaa na bibi yangu na mtoto. Lakini nyumba ni kidogo, nafasi hakuna. Wanga natembelea familia yangu kama miezi 3 ikipita. Njoo at least kwa nimesave at least fare ya kwenda na kurudi ili na za matumizi kwanza nyumbani.
So getting access to financing for affordable units is really challenging. First of all, many banks don't lend to the lower end of the market. A lot of Kenyans, in fact most Kenyans, have informal incomes, and so that also makes it very challenging for banks to lend to these customers. And finally, financing is very expensive here in Kenya, as we all know, and some of the prevailing mortgage rates before the interest rate cap above 20%, and they were variable. On the other hand, there are certain lenders who are out there who are making these types of loans, and we should definitely acknowledge that.
Stima Sacco is what you'll term a credit union, a Sacco that is really out there to make sure that all our members are able to get financing. If you're to look at the Kenyan economy, we are a country of about 46 million Kenyans. And the statistics out there speak of 22,000 mortgages. We find that statistic to be a bit embarrassing for a country of our size. And what we've tried to do is to really change that question. For example, you'd note that if you're to combine what the investment and the Sacco companies are doing, you'd notice that there are about 40,000 other mortgage-like products that are not necessarily mortgages. They could be micro-mortgages, there could be development loans, normal loans, that are actually issued out every year.
In urban Kenya, 90% of the population is renting their homes. It's only the top 10% that can afford to buy a home. What we've done is we've created a community of 1,000 homes in Athi River, with all the amenities of a high-end development. But our prices start at 2, 3, 4 and 5 million shillings. And this nobody has done yet in the country. When you meet some of the customers, the potential buyers, first it's disbelief, then it's like, I can really buy a home. And it slowly digests that I won't have to pay rent again in my life if I can do this. If I have a medical crisis, I don't have to leave my house. And so how do we do that? One is that it's economies of scale. When you do have a central park, Cabro roads, basketball courts, when you share it among 1,000 houses, it becomes much more feasible. The second is there's a cross-subsidizing structure where there's certain homes we have specifically for first-time homeowners, and those are the most affordable. And the other homes are slightly more expensive, but they're available to the open market. And the open market ones subsidize the more affordable ones.
Water not only nurtures growth, but powers prosperity. But imagine turning on a water tap and nothing comes out. Or trekking through an unsafe area only to get to a contaminated source. Or having to pay a fee for a small amount of water to be delivered. These are some of the challenges 400 million people in sub-Saharan Africa face, in rural areas and increasingly in its expanding cities. Many water utilities are working hard to expand access to piped water, but most haven't kept up with the growing demand or the maintenance on aging infrastructure, leaving only a third of urban residents with piped water to their homes. Delivering safe, clean water to all of Africa's citizens is possible. Increasing access to a safe water supply will require more investment in utility infrastructure, while improving the capacity to operate and maintain services. It monitoring the performance of utilities can go a long way to ensure they're serving all citizens. Invest in water utilities to secure efficient and clean water delivery for a healthy Africa. Learn more about how to improve the performance of water utilities in Africa by downloading a free copy of the new report at openknowledge.worldbank.org.
Post your comments below, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up, and follow us on social networks, and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.